maximum length is 36 inches, and our bat weight, we have a -3 rule, and basically that means that the weight of the bat has to be within 3 units of the length. All right, so if they didn't have that rule, and you could have whatever weight bat you had and length, you could have a significant impact on your bat speed and also bat ball velocity and then performance of hitting. The coefficient of restitution for a baseball, as Coach mentioned, is a lot higher. All right, it's a lighter ball. All right, it has a smaller circumference, i.e., it's going to travel further in the air because it has less drag. All right, it's lighter. It's going to come off the bat faster. All right, than say a softball would. Our bats at St. John's, on average, is a 33-30 and 34-31. So significantly smaller than the maximum as recommended by the NCAA.
Moving on into pitching mechanics, obviously, if you just take a look at it, it's a lot different. So with the windmill and the underhand throw, it's a more natural motion, and you're able to actually get more velocity because you're going through a greater range of motion with your arm. And believe it or not, because it's moving in this agile plane, you would never guess this by watching someone try to pitch for the first time underhand, but it is more accurate than going overhand. So those were some really cool things that I found. The braking forces with pitching a softball are very extreme. On the very front foot, if you've ever watched a pitcher pitch, their foot is perpendicular, and that basically serves to break their momentum in order to regain the momentum through the hip speed. So on that front foot, they're actually the force on that front foot is greater than their body weight. So it's a pretty violent motion if you ever looked at it in slow motion. So that's something that is kind of unique to pitching underhand. And then it's a flat pitching surface. It's not really a mound, it's just a circle. And there's no play with gravity there. But the beauty of that is you can throw a rise ball, and then baseball, I don't throw a rise ball.
You mentioned violence, right? If you ever saw a slow-mo of a major league pitcher's arm, that's violent. All right, there's one famous one of Randy Johnson, and it's amazing to me that the arm could actually do that one time, let alone thousands of times. Okay, you have overhand motion, all right, with baseball, which, you know, right there creates an issue with injuries, multiple angles. Although the ball doesn't rise in baseball, the guy could come at a lot of different angles. All right, it doesn't have to come from one motion like softball does. All right, the mound height increases your torque and your velocity. All right, all this is going to increase force production. All right, which is good, but it's also bad because it really puts that shoulder and that elbow into you know, a danger area. Very unnatural motion throwing a baseball, and arguably, all right, softball is pitchers, that's natural. All right, I haven't seen any data out there that says, you know, because it's an underhand motion, all right, it's safer. All right, everyone speculates that that's the case, but I haven't seen anything that actually proved that. Correct? Yeah?
No.
Last, history and tradition. This is the big bugaboo with baseball. All right. One of the main things that I've confronted over my years is long, slow distance running for conditioning. Okay. Now, it depends on the purpose. If your purpose is to go out and recover and, you know, get that blood flow and increase your body temperature and help that muscle in the arm, those muscles in the arm recover, great. If you're looking to have a pitcher lose a little weight, great. If you're looking to predominantly use long, slow distance as you're training as a pitcher, you're in the wrong ballpark. All right, and I don't have to go into why, and you guys know why. I just look at the actual physiology behind throwing a baseball as a pitcher, and you can figure that out on your own. Lightweights, I love this one. Lightweights, more reps in season. And the coach is, I don't want guys getting sore. All right, well, it took me a while to kind of overcome that belief, but we've come a long way at St. John's, but that was one of our big things is, hey, we don't want to lift too heavy, we want guys being sore. Well, coach, you lift a lot of reps, you're going to get sore, and you're going to get weaker, and you're going to get less explosive, and we're going to collapse. And a few years ago, towards the end of the year, we did great, and then we get to the Big East tournament and NCAA tournament, and our guys kind of crashed. Now, in season, we lift heavy. Volume's different, volume's a lot lower, but we lift heavy. Second thing, overhead lifting. Don't overhead lift the pitchers, your baseball players. I don't see why not. If a guy doesn't have an injury in his shoulder, why not? All right, I've seen a lot of power lifters and Olympic lifters lift some big weight. Strongman lifts some big weight, and I don't see too many injuries, but they also don't throw a baseball 90 miles an hour. I blend my approach with this particular thing. Our pitchers, we don't do a lot of overhead, if any. Our position guys, if they want to do it, go ahead. As long as your mechanics, your technique's good, I let them do it. 4, all right, Coach touched on it before, weighted bat, all right, in the batter's box for a warm-up. That's not going to change, all right? I can tell our coaches, hey, the research says the bat goes slower. That's not going to change, all right? Major leaguers do it, you know, our guys will do it, all right? So until the major league guys change, the college level won't. And then the last is using a 30-yard, 60-yard sprint as our test for speed. It's considered the gold standard for any speed training, you know, from football to baseball to whatever sport you're coaching. A lot of guys use that 30, 60-yard sprint. That's how our guys are rated. They're rated in high school, they're rated throughout to college, into the minors, into the majors. You know, that's how we measure speed. Well, in baseball, you never reach max speed. All right, it's not a straight ahead sport, it's a curvy linear sport. All right, you're never running 60 yards in a straight line, unless you're going from the dugout to the outfield, and you're not sprinting out there, usually. All right, I'm looking at more acceleration speed. I think that's a more important thing to look at. But, you know, again, it's the 30-60 that's used as a standard. We're gonna keep on that. All right, we're not gonna really change that too much.
In history and tradition with softball, there really isn't a whole lot. I'm pretty much free to do what I want with my kids, and that's been consistent at both places, at UCLA and at UK. So they just say get after them, and I do. You'll see it in the video.
Okay, shoulder care, equally as important in softball and baseball. All right. My opinion for softball, and again, since I work with our softball team, I think shoulder care is more important for our fielders than our pitchers. And the reason behind that is a lot of our girls, obviously we mentioned before the weight of the ball, all right, it's 6, what's the weight again? 6 something?
6.2.
All right, 6 ounces compared to 5 ounces. All right, mechanically on average, what I see at St. John's, our female softball players don't have the same mechanics as our guys on the baseball team. All right, so this is all going to lend to shoulder problems. So we're really focusing on keeping that shoulder healthy. In baseball, our pitchers really take ownership of their arm, and over say our position guys. And not that our position guys don't do it, but our pitchers really, they come in, the first thing they do, arm care. The last thing they do, arm care. All right, they do it on the field. Sometimes I think they do it too much. All right, but they really know that, hey, this is my moneymaker. This is what's going to make me successful, so I'm going to take care of it. So it's easy for me to train pitchers because they really kind of buy into it right off the bat.